Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the relatively common bug poison-type Pokémon Venonat, the Insect Pokémon, and its relatively rare evolution Venomoth, the Poison Moth Pokémon. Though they may be simple insectoids to some, the members of the Venonat family are interesting creatures that can indefinitely inflict some nasty status conditions against those that dare to get close to them. Venonat possess spherical bodies with thick purple hair covering their entire form, moving around on a pair of two-toed feet, with an additional pair of three-fingered grasping appendages that are mainly used for bringing food to their mouths, which are adorned with a pair of large protruding fangs that allow these creatures to deliver painful bites to anything that gets too close to them. They additionally possess a set of long, white antennae with bulbous ends that are packed with sensory equipment that these creatures use to help them see in cases where their vision is obscured. This is not always a problem for them though, as their red eyes are incredibly large and dominate their face, being comprised of multiple lenses that assist these creatures in tracking the motions of their otherwise agile prey. Their evolved form, Venomoth, are radically different in form as a result of taking a moth-like form as adults after evolution, with a grayish-purple abdomen and dark-purple thorax and head region, as well as large, veined wings. They possess two pairs of appendages on their body that are used for grasping small prey in the air, while they retain their large fangs, though with a slightly different mouth structure. Their heads are adorned with a trio of crest-like linear protrusions packed with sensory equipment, and their eyes have shrank in size, becoming single-lensed eyes that are generally translucent with a dark black pupil at the center. Their abdomen is adorned with a series of zigzagging markings on the outside, and their overall form makes them somewhat pleasing to look at, though getting a close look at them tends to be hazardous to one's health. The members of the Venonat family are nocturnal creatures that possess a fairly classical insectoid form that is typical of many bug-type Pokémon families, but they are notably set apart from their contemporaries by their unique visual systems. In the case of Venonat, these creatures possess compound eyes that allow them to readily track the motion of objects in their near vicinity with incredible accuracy, which helps as they tend to feed on smaller insects for sustenance. However, while most insects that possess this kind of eye structure generally do not have the best of depth perception, these creatures actually possess a dual lens system with a pair of lenses stacked on top of each other that have slightly different indexes of refraction, so light bends at a different angle as it enters each lens. The brains of these creatures are built to be able to detect and interpret this change so they can correct for these typical depth perception issues. Venomoth have evolved to only have a single flexible lens in order to correct for this issue automatically, but they can actually change the shape of their eye lens in order to enhance their visual field much as compound eyes would, granting them the same benefits that Venonat have. In addition, with the help of their antennae in the case of Venonat, and the three-pronged protrusion on the heads of Venomoth, these creatures can actually alter their visual system to pick up radio waves by projecting them forth from these apparatuses, receiving the waves back into their eyes as they bounce off of objects near and around them. This can make it possible for these creatures to effectively see even in pitch darkness and through thick fog and other visual obstructions, meaning that they never lose their way as long as there is nothing solid blocking their view. Furthermore, these creatures are also unique for being able to focus energy in the back of their eyes and then release it in the form of a burst of psychic energy, allowing them to utilize attacks like Confusion, Psybeam, Zen Headbutt, and Psychic that are beyond what most other bug types are capable of. The only problem with these visual systems is that bright light has a habit of overloading their optic nerves. So while these creatures primarily dine on other insects that are attracted to bright lights like street lights at night, they are equally attracted to the light, which can be used against them to lure them and attack them without them being able to put up an initial defense. As a result of their unique visual systems, these creatures can both possess the tinted lens ability as a base ability, but their other abilities differ as a result of their distinct body forms. While Venonat naturally gain access to compound eyes as a base ability, and their often skittish nature can grant them access to Runaway as a hidden ability, the toxic scales that cover the wings of Venomoth instead grant them access to the Shield Dust ability as a base ability and Wonder Skin as a hidden ability. In addition, while Venonat possess an EV yield of 1 in special defense, Venomoth possess a yield of 1 in special attack and 1 in speed. As far as their stats go, in the case of Venomoth, they are not bad Pokemon, but their stats are fairly limited, with most of them being below average in value. The exceptions include having an above-average base HP stat for a fully evolved Bug-type Pokémon, and above-average base special attack and speed stats for a fully evolved Bug and Poison-type Pokémon. Caution is recommended when near them regardless, as while they might not look dangerous from their stats alone, their toxic nature can more than make them a serious hazard to have to deal with in battle. As far as young Bug-type Pokémon go, Venonat are definitely different from most, and are actually relatively powerful at a young age, but this does not come from their decent stats alone. Although they might be a cut above other young Bug-type Pokémon, the large size of these insectoids makes them a prime target for larger predators, and in order to protect themselves when not hiding in the shade of tall trees, these creatures have developed two powerful defenses that work together to keep them safe. For one thing, the thick hair that covers their bodies is not there just for show, as the hairs are actually incredibly stiff and can pierce soft flesh if rammed into hard enough, making it unwise to come into direct contact with them. More notable, though, is the fact that these creatures naturally secrete a toxic liquid from pores in their exoskeleton that dries to form a thin layer of material at the base of their hairs, before sloughing off like dandruff when Venonat shake their bodies violently, scattering the toxic material everywhere around them. This is what allows these creatures to naturally learn the Poison Powder, Stun Spore, and Sleep Powder techniques, and while it may take them longer to learn these moves than some similar insectoid Pokemon, they can still make good use of the moves and inflict nasty conditions on anyone that dares to get too close to them, making Venonat a surprising hazard that few close-quarters combatants will see coming. While most insectoid Pokemon that evolve into butterflies and moths tend to go through some sort of cocoon-like stage before they evolve, a mutation in the genes of Venonat allows them to skip this part of their life cycle and reach adulthood immediately upon evolving the first time. Though, because of this, it does take them longer to evolve fully than a lot of similar Bug-type Pokemon. Even so, evolution does make these creatures much more powerful, as the addition of large wings not only allows them to immediately learn the Gust attack upon evolving, but they can also learn the Silver Wind attack with a bit of help, and can later gain access to the Bug Buzz and Quiver Dance moves, helping them to make the most of their offensive and tactical powers. While Venonat may have relied on toxic dandruff to inflict status conditions, Venomoth go one step further and have all of their toxins manufactured and encased in the dust-like scales that cover their wings, which are released from the scales when they dissolve immediately upon coming into contact with another object or life form, quickly leaching through skin and into the victim's bloodstream. While they can be hard to remove manually due to the electrostatic forces that hold them in place, all it takes is a strong flap of their wings and a minor electrical impulse for Venomoth to be able to release these toxic scales, and the results are rarely good. Interestingly enough though, their bodies actually manufacture two distinct types of toxins to help them more readily inflict conditions for specific purposes, and these toxins are actually color-coded. Lighter colored scales contain paralyzing toxins that are mainly used for stunning prey items. Darker colored scales contain poisoning toxins that are used to slowly kill potential predators. And the two mixed together create a sleep-inducing toxin used by Venomoth to nullify threats so they can make an escape from a dangerous situation. The fact that these creatures are almost constantly releasing these scales in some quantity can make them a dire hazard to be around, and helps to supplement their otherwise weak stats and make them a serious threat in just about any combat scenario if they can't be tackled with long-range assaults. While they might not be the most powerful of Bug-type Pokemon outright, the members of the Venonat family are by far some of the most toxic, and can make short work of unprotected opponents in battle with their poisonous powders and scales. Add in their ability to wield powerful psychic-type attacks and make the most of their Bug-type nature when they are fully evolved, and you've certainly got an insectoid family that can make life a living nightmare if they can't be battled from afar. Even if you are a Bug-type enthusiast, you might want to do yourself a favor and stay away from these creatures at all costs. They might look quite appealing from appearance alone, but unless you have special protection to keep yourself safe and stay outdoors as much as possible with them, you'll likely come to regret your decision to own one when they reach their adult stage, and literally change the color of the air as they fill it with more airborne toxins than a standard air filter could ever hope to process and protect against. Thank you all for watching this video. It is always an honor to be able to speak with you all on the subject of Pokemon in a way that brings me great joy and happiness in my work. If you would like to keep tabs on past and future work, click that subscribe button, check out my work on DeviantArt, and don't be shy about following me on Twitter, where you can find pertinent announcements on upcoming work before it is officially posted. Links to both can be found in the video description. If you would like to support my work and help Miguel and I continue to produce more content for you and improve upon our presentation, please visit us at my Patreon page, which you can also find a link to in the video description.
No.
With that, I thank you for watching and I wish you well.